Curtis lives a quiet life in small-town Ohio with his wife Samantha and daughter Hannah.
You got a good life, Curtis. I think that's the best compliment you can give a man.
But when Curtis begins to have terrifying apocalyptic dreams, he channels his fear into building a storm shelter in his backyard.
You want to waste money on a stupid tornado shelter?
The resulting strain of his inexplicable behavior on his friends and family can't compare to what Curtis thinks his dreams may truly mean in Take Shelter.
Next up, Take Shelter, directed by Jeff Nichols, starring Michael Shannon and Jessica Chastain. Liz, Sean, you've just seen it. Start us off.
So I really enjoyed Take Shelter. It's one of the very few films the past few months that I just was blown away by. The tone is so strong, the pace is so strong, the performances are amazing, and that's what makes this film a good film.
It's a solid piece of work, and I think part of what makes it work is that it really draws you in to its storyline. These visions that Michael Shannon is having of this oncoming storm or an oncoming apocalypse really brings you into the fold of where this story is going. And it asks a fascinating question, right? It says, is this man protecting his family from a storm, from something that's going to destroy them, or is he protecting them from himself?
Well, that's part of the draw of the script, as well as something that might not be as appealing to audience members, and it might throw them off a little bit. Again, I love this film, but the director weaves reality and fantasy really well in a way where you don't really know if you can trust the events that are unfolding before you.
I don't know. That's to me, that sounds intriguing. I mean, that not knowing, I mean, I don't want everything pat and written out for me in a script.
I agree with you that the sort of ambiguity aspect of any movie I'm always interested in and I always go with. Here, one of the problems, though, is it's a problem with the ending of the film. I'm not going to give away too much, but it does bring up a lot of questions, as you said, that aren't answered. Instead of answering questions, it simply brings up more questions. And I think a lot of people will leave the theater kind of going, I don't get it. I don't know what happened. And they'll never really get an answer to that question, at least with the ending, the conclusion that's provided.
But I did find that it was really exciting to leave the movie and talk about it, talk about the ending, what it meant to me, what it meant to you. Every one of us had a different interpretation, which was exciting.
Well, it does seem that one thing that sparks for both of you are the casting of the leads. They make the movie for you.
Michael Shannon is perfect in this movie. He's got this sort of underlying violent quotient about him that, you know, could come about at any moment and does at the perfect moment in this film. And even though there are some problems with, you know, maybe his decision-making, you're not quite sure what's right about this guy, Shannon really brings it into the fold and makes you go with this guy and root for him. Jessica Chastain has been great this entire summer. I don't think that this film will necessarily bring her as much recognition as some of the other films that she's been in, but she does some great work here. There are specific scenes that she has with Shannon, quiet scenes, that are just remarkable.
You didn't say one word about this to me. Don't you think you owe me that? Don't you think that you might respect me enough to at least consider what I'd have to say?
I didn't want you worrying about it.
Well, I'm worried, Curtis.
I just thought Michael Shannon, I don't think anyone else could do as good of a job he did in this film. It was an incredibly compelling, interesting performance, very complex, and to make that character likable, I mean, this is a character who spends the entire film being tormented and rather sadistic to the people around him, yet you can't help liking him. You can't help feeling for his cause.
I think Nichols is the real star of this picture. I think the mood that he creates with these visions that Michael Shannon is having really suck you into it from the get-go and keep you on it for the entire 2-hour ride or however long it is. I think he does a magnificent job pulling that off. This is the second time he's worked with Michael Shannon. He worked with him on a film called Shotgun Stories, and you can see that he has a clear connection with this actor and really brings the performance of Michael Shannon to the forefront and does a magnificent job with him.
So let's go ahead and take it to a vote. Grab your tickets, please.
All right.
This film terrified me, and it stayed with me, and that's a mark of a good film. It's really fantastic. Go see it.
Take Shelter will have people debating it outside of the theater and then well after, and that's something we don't get enough of these days. So, see it.
That's 2 tickets for Take Shelter, which is a see it.
Sweet.
Cheers.
Cheers.